So how have you been? I feel like every day I'm like, oh my gosh, listen to my life. Me.
Well, yours is so fascinating, though.
How about you? What's up?
Mine's boring. I don't have anything exciting. Although we're going to talk about some exciting news that's going on in the Ogle family.
Yes,
My
huge
my niece
news.
Caitlin, she's been, as most folks know, she's been pregnant with twins, and she had her babies yesterday. So
She
we're
sure
real
did.
excited.
Adorable. And this is
Yeah,
one of the best photos I've ever
isn't
seen
that a great picture?
of newborn babies and their mama. Look at all those little red lips.
Uh
Caitlin
huh.
and Ginger is on the right. Ginger Rose is on the right.
Ginger, right? Oh, okay. I didn't know. Oh, I guess
See her
yeah.
bow.
She's got the bow. I didn't
Yeah.
put that together.
And then
Okay,
Gus is on the left.
gotcha.
So
Okay,
cute.
right.
And I've been telling Caitlin all this time. I've been preparing her for the. I always say lack of sleep is totally normal. You know, when you
Yes.
start to get exhausted and you cry, that's totally normal.
Remember those?
But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking from having one baby at a time, and she has two. Thank God she's got her husband Ryan to help out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a twin, and I've heard the stories from my parents about feeding time.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
So my dad would hold my mom would do this, and it's like one of our heads was here and one of our heads was here, and she would try to double feed while my dad's helping the whole arrangement.
Right. That sounds like quite an ordeal.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Suzanne's sisters are twins.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is she older or younger?
Suzanne's older.
So did she get to help out?
I guess some, yeah. She's only about a year or two older, I think.
Oh, then
Yeah.
not very.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Then they had a toddler
3 or
and
4 years,
twins.
maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay, but
Sorry.
still, yeah. But so it does it. No, because that's your married. That would be Caitlin's married
Yeah, no, it
side.
doesn't. Yeah.
So yeah. So I was wondering if
There's
it runs in
no,
your
we don't,
family.
yeah, not, and I don't know about Ryan's family. I haven't heard that there's a history of twins there. Maybe there is, though, but I haven't heard that, though. Her
Yeah.
husband, Caitlin's husband, Ryan.
Well, we didn't have a history of twins in our family
Oh,
either.
really?
But my parents waited 7 years to have kids, so they prayed, God give us twins. Kablam! And
Really?
now every time I need prayer, I'm like, hey, mom and dad, can you pray for this specifically? I really need this.
Man, yeah. Boy, that's some good praying right
I
there.
know. But yeah, so they got us, and
Well, how about that?
twins are a handful, but they are the cutest. You know, when you walk around and you see little baby, like toddler twins walking around, oh my gosh, it's
Right, right.
adorable.
Now, this is a dumb question. I should already know this. Will Caitlin's twins look the same?
No, because they're not, they can't be identical. They're different sexes. So
Oh,
if
I
they were
didn't know
identical,
that.
they'd both be boys or girls.
Oh,
So
I
they're
see.
fraternal.
Okay. Well,
So,
see, there you go.
and D'Anthony's making his appearance over here.
He is. He is indeed. I heard some
He's
noise over
sliding in with a boom.
there. Okay.
Okay, so I need to talk to Jacqueline, who's at the helm today. Jacqueline, can
Yes.
you pop yourself up?
Thanks for being here, Jacqueline.
We're talking about motherhood, feeding
Yes.
babies.
Oh man,
When is Max's full name Maxwell or just Max?
it's Maxwell.
Okay, and just like my nephew's Maxwell.
Okay.
So you know, you go back to the baby days too, and thinking all the late night feedings and just getting up and the crying and the comforting and so
Mhm.
forth, which is
Yes.
precious. It creates such a bond between you and your baby, because usually they stop crying once you hold them, and it's like, oh, that's so precious. You know, they're depending on me.
They
Uh,
are, yeah.
and so, what's it like, in your opinion, taking care of one in the middle of the night versus two?
Well, I can't even wrap my mind around the thought of two at once in the middle. Like that would be insanity. Absolutely, in the middle of the night. Yeah, that would be hard. But they're, it sounds like she has a great partner. So I bet
She does.
Yeah.
Ryan. I bet they tag team that.
Well, you
Oh,
said
for
you have to
sure.
really-
Yeah.
you were feeding too. I mean, do they both want to eat at the same time, though?
Right, Heather. What do you do?
Yeah, they want to eat at the same time because one
They
wakes
do.
the other one up. They're like,
Uh-huh.
wah, wah, wah. What? Oh, I'm hungry too.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I'm wet. Oh, I am wet. Wah, wah. And it's just like they feed off of each other.
Okay.
But then what's going to be hilarious is that they come up with their own language. And so, like, my sister and I would be like, and we just totally understood each other. And my parents would just watch us back and forth like it was fascinating. So Caitlin's going to get to see that.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be so cute.
It's interesting. Suzanne's sisters, they're, again, they're twins, and they have some kind of a little wavelength that works between the two of them, when they communicate. They
Oh, still?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I can give my sister a look across the room and she'll totally understand what I'm saying.
Right.
Um,
Well, I can do that to Kevin, too.
and he'll be like,
What?
Me? Me? So, okay, the Ogles. Who's the oldest again? Is it Kevin?
Kevin's the oldest.
Okay, Kevin, then Kelly, then you?
No, then Kevin, then me, and then Kelly. We're just 1 year apart.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Your mama.
yeah.
Dang.
Right.
And your dad. That's a lot of, see, that's like toddler upon toddler upon toddler.
Yes.
Wow. And then, so the oldest, Kevin, was probably like, me, hold me, put him down, hold
Yeah, they
me.
were like, get out of the way.
Kevin was like 5 feet tall at age 2. Who, by the way, is now 6'8". Might I ask how tall you are? 6'3"?
Yeah, about that.
6'3". And then how tall is Kelly?
He's about the same as me, about 6'3".
Okay.
But we grew up thinking we were short with Kevin around. You know.
I grew up thinking I was short. Oh, wait, I am.
Yeah,
So,
we've got some good Kevin stories of like when he was like 3 and people would come by and ask my mom at the grocery store, what's that 7th grader doing in the grocery cart?
if she lets go, if she doesn't have it, the groceries in the cart would topple.
Right?
I tell Kevin in the afternoons, I'm like, we said this about you this morning.
Yeah, right.
Or your brother told me this or that.
Yeah, they
He gets a kick out of it.
tried to charge him full price at the movie theater when he was like 7.
Yes, you may come watch this rated R movie.
Yeah, right.
Come right on in.
Uh-huh.
Of course, those were the early days, and they didn't really care back then anyway. I don't think you had to be a certain age to watch an R movie back then, did you?
No, as long as you could pay, it seemed to be the case.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Come on in.
Right.
Speaking of paying, we just recently had $1 million Powerball ticket sold in Oklahoma.
Man, you know what? I bought a ticket for the last one, and I didn't win anything.
You didn't win.
Mm-mm.
So is this the one that you bought the ticket for?
Yes, just a couple days ago. I saw that
Okay.
it was like I thought it was like 6 or 700 million bucks or something. So I thought, well, my wife likes me to buy her a ticket, so I was going to buy her a ticket. I bought myself a ticket. I didn't win
Oh,
anything.
so what if you won and she didn't? Would you share it?
Well, she wouldn't know I won. No, of course I wouldn't. What do you think?
I know. Yeah, I know that you would. But would
Right.
she share with you?
Well, I would hope so. Yeah.
So this one is worth $1 million. No one won the
No,
Powerball,
that's not
though.
shabby either.
Right. I mean, after taxes, what are you going to get? Like 450? Who
Good,
knows?
I don't know. Good question.
Yeah. So the Powerball jackpot has now grown to approximately 700
Nobody
million.
won the big one.
Right. They just won the $1 million portion of it.
Yeah.
They didn't get the Powerball. So they
So
won $1 million.
how many of those numbers do you have to get $1 million bucks?
I think you have to get all 5,
You have to get them all, but you don't get the
just not the Powerball.
Powerball number.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your brother knows the rules. He plays too, and a lot of times I have to ask him.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know that he played.
Oh yeah, he's like devoted. He's probably lost about $1 million playing the lottery
Really?
over
I
the
didn't
years.
know that.
Yeah,
We're dumb. We only buy it like when it gets real big.
I know, and what we should be doing is buying it when it's really low.
I know the odds.
Yeah. So the odds never change, and I don't know why that is,
Right.
but they always say your odds are 1 in $292 million
Mhm.
of, I think, hitting the Powerball.
You know, that crazy story
I
that
said dollars.
Spencer did the other day about the lotto scratch off tourist. Did you see that story?
I heard about it. I didn't
Yeah,
see
it's
it.
online. You need to take a look. It's absolutely there's these outfits at LLCs that they go around to different state lotteries and they figure out which of the scratch off games have just the fewest amount of tickets left and what the odds are of winning, what the how much the
Wow.
prize amounts are, and they buy a whole bunch of them and go through. Yeah, watch it online. It's worth a look. It's a crazy story.
Okay, will do.
Yeah.
That sounds very
Mhm.
interesting. It's almost like counting cards in Vegas.
Kind of.
Yeah. So the Powerball drawing will happen again Saturday. So it's time to buy your ticket if you
Well,
want
I
to.
guess so. Since it's still big, maybe I'll go get another ticket.
Yeah, there you go. You'll make Suzanne very happy. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about several close calls in Norman. So the city of Norman is now emphasizing work zone safety. We'll be
Mhm.
right back after this. Welcome back to Around the Block on this Friday. We are happy you're here. We're also happy that it is Friday. Ken Ogle is with us today.
Hey guys.
Hello. And we are talking about the city of Norman is emphasizing work zone safety after several close calls. We never like to hear that.
Mm-mm.
That's terrible.
Well, unfortunately, we had a tragedy. We had a highway worker, a construction worker, killed up in the Veneta area.
Yeah.
Struck and killed. He was a volunteer firefighter when he wasn't doing that. So that happens too much across the entire country. Actually, the construction zone accidents on highways or just even on a regular street.
Hmm. Absolutely. So, what they're saying is in Norman, they're calling on the public to follow traffic control measures, maintain the safety of public workers in work zones following several near miss situations in the past few weeks. This means things like reducing speed, staying alert, increasing following distance. Follow all of the signs, obviously, and then plan ahead. Also, it's at least minimum $10,000 fine if you do hit a worker, whether or not they're killed, which is
Mm-hmm.
tragic. But yeah, still $10,000 fine. It'll go on your record. Like there's a million reasons to pay attention,
Right, as it should.
right, in work zones. And also that's somebody's, you see the signs that says, I'm somebody's daddy,
Right.
and
Yeah.
son and brother and whatever it may be. So very, very important, not just in Norman, but statewide that we follow
Mm-hmm.
these.
And sometimes those are pretty tight. And unfortunately, we're all guilty. I'm not going to act like you need to stay off your cell phone like I've never done that. We all need to do a better job of staying off these things when we're behind the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big distraction. It's a problem.
Yes, for sure. Okay, moving on. Thunder's new City Edition uniform highlights Native American culture and community pride. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's always fun to find out what the Thunder are wearing, like their newest
Right, me
costumes.
too.
I say costumes.
Uniforms, girl.
Their outfits. Hey, there's Caitlin again. Yeah, so the one time I said, and I'll never live this down, but one of our directors made fun of me forever. This is when I was producing the noon show after our morning show. He and I
Yes.
used to anchor the morning show together in early 2000s, and then I would produce the noon show. So that director, he asked me who my favorite football team was, and I'm not a huge sports person other than the Thunder. And I said, I really like Louisiana, the Saints, because I really like the fleur-de-lis on their outfits. And he goes, oh, on their outfits. Okay. So I've never stopped making fun of myself since that
Uh-huh.
happened. But
I'm more impressed with the fleur-de-lis than I am with the outfit.
the fleur-de-lis.
Well, that's
Yeah.
golly.
And it looks like fleur-de-lis. Fleur-de-lis.
Fleur-de-lis, well, that's what I like. Well,
Well, look at that, though. Those are cool. I
I
like
do
those
like the uniforms. I like the black.
uniforms.
They're neat. Yeah.
I can't believe I also said costumes. So this uniform exhibit opens at First Americans Museum
Mm-hmm.
August 21st, which is yesterday. So it's already debuted. And the team will be debuting them November 19th during their game.
Along with the new court, the new city court.
That's going to be cool.
Very cool. Have you seen that picture?
I have not seen the
Okay.
picture of
Well,
the
you'll
new
have to
court.
wait. They just splash that every now and then, but it's cool. It's dark too. It's got it matches the uniforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean the costumes.
You mean their outfits?
Yeah.
Outfits/costumes, whatever. The Thunder should post hashtag OOTD outfit of the day.
Is that a hashtag?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
Have you heard of the 10 out of 10? It's my holy grail. That's one of the ones that I don't. Holy grail, 10 out of 10, outfit of the day. What's the other? Oh, obsessed, or chef's kiss. All the things.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a whole different language these days.
Well, this here is my OTT.
OOTD outfit of the day. Yes. Take a picture and post it at hashtag OOTD. Everybody would think that was hilarious. I would, at least. Or they'd be like, man, Kent thinks he's 25 years old.
Well, I do.
You feel it, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I mean, you get a lot of exercise in. I say this every time you're on, but Kent golfs almost every day.
Try to.
Yes. So again, if you want to see the Thunder's new outfits, costumes / jerseys / uniforms, Wednesday, November 19th, when they play against the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Awesome. The season's it's hard to believe. I mean, football season just getting started, but basketball, especially pro basketball season, gets started so early.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
It really, really does, for sure. We are moving on now to the most famous Oklahoman you don't know anything about. This is something new that you'll be able to see at the state fair when you go to the fair this year.
Mhm.
I think this is really cool because I didn't know anything about him until we did this story. And here is a statue now at the Oklahoma State Fairgrounds. And this is a founding father of Oklahoma. His name is Charles Jones. This stands, by the way, between the Bennett Event Center and Centennial Building. So again, founding father of Oklahoma. This was brought to you by the Oklahoma City County Historical Society. They paid for this monument, and they say he is probably the most famous Oklahoman you don't know anything about. So he was on the first territorial and Oklahoma legislatures, two-time mayor of OKC, and led the efforts to get the state capital from Guthrie to where it is now in Oklahoma City. He even founded the towns of Mustang and Jones. Jones, of course, was named after him. But that's not all. I mean, if he doesn't sound busy enough, he also built the first flour mill in Oklahoma City. He got first place in the 1893 World Fair of Chicago, putting Oklahoma on the maps as an
I
agricultural
know.
state. Last thing, he's even considered a pioneer of our own state fair. He was the first president and organizer of the State Fair Association.
Has not been getting his due, that's for sure. And I'm
I
so glad that they're
know.
doing that now. I want to go by the state fair and look at this new statue that they have there. I want to see the plaque and read all that. And I'm glad that he's now part of the getting the history. Yeah,
Recognition.
the
Yeah.
recognition for his role in history of
Isn't
Oklahoma
that
City. I
odd?
know, it's cool.
I mean, it's cool, but it's odd that we've not heard very
I
much about
know.
him.
You know, you hear a lot about Alfalfa Bill Murray at the state level and all these other, different guys around town. But
The Edmond family, who started the town of Edmond via the railroad. I mean,
right,
it's just
different folks. Yeah,
yes. And so I love history.
right. You hear about the Hefners and Overholsers, probably because of the lake and and everything else. But still,
Yes.
Overholser Mansion.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and so I just love the fact that he's one of. It's cool to say he's a founding father of Oklahoma.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is cool.
and so I mean he was around before we were even a state. That's amazing.
Yes,
So speaking of the state fair, the new food list is out of new
I
foods.
know. I
We're
like some of it.
so I read this on our newscast 4:30 yesterday.
Yeah, I actually caught that when that was going on, and you were out of control with it.
Because it's called a dill dog Dorito bomb.
Right.
And so that made me die laughing. And I'm like, you might as well bring your entire arsenal of things to treat indigestion when you go.
That doesn't look good there.
Dubai chocolate,
Mhm.
whatever that was, it had pistachio cream on top and Biscoff horchata.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think they look okay. First of all, the Dubai chocolate is all the rage right now. And I was at On Cue, and this kid at the register, he goes, "Hey, you want one of these?" It was a Dubai chocolate bar, and I was like, "Well, what's the catch?" And he goes, "It's $15. No one will buy them. They're $15."
Really?
Yes, and so he said, like somebody had picked one up, rang it up, and they were like, "Oh, never mind." But apparently, I've never tried it, but Dubai chocolate is
But
all
the
the
dill
rage right now.
the dill dog.
Deal
Yeah,
dog.
maybe.
Okay, yes. So I think that actually sounds good, although I can't even imagine what the sodium content is.
Yeah, that would be high probably.
Yes, let me get down to where it
I actually this summer
is.
I saw a recipe and made it for some dill pickle pasta salad, and it was good.
Ooh, that sounds really
It
good.
actually was good.
Yeah, so we didn't take my notes, I don't think, from. Did you guys take my notes and put them in the rundown? Because I sent out an email about 7:30 last night, and I don't see any of my stories. But so I had a description in there of what that was. But it's hot dog and
It's like a dill. I
pickle.
thought it was like a dill. I thought it was a dill pickle with a hot dog stuffed in it.
It's a hot dog with a dill pickle stuffed in it, and then they slice it, and then they roll it in Cool Ranch Doritos.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm sure it's fried too along the
Yes,
way.
of course.
And then so they'll probably fry it and then roll. So I'm thinking like, what is the sodium content of that? Like you'll be
A
walking
lot.
down, yeah, you'll be going "Whoop," just with water retention, walking down the
Yeah, because hot dogs are already high, and
midway. Yeah. So there's some other foods
but
too
you're
that
not
we want to
worried
get
about
to.
nutritional value at the state
State fair,
fair, are you?
no, it
No.
all goes out the window along with all of your cash. It's very
Right?
expensive to
Yeah.
get in, and the food's expensive, and the
Yes,
vendors are expensive, but
it
it's still
is.
fun to walk around
Right.
and
I'm so boring. I usually just get a corn dog.
or the Indian tacos are good too.
I know people love them. It's not my thing.
Yeah, I don't really get them.
The
You know
roast.
what I eat? What I get though? Okay, let me just tell you this: rattlesnake on a stick.
Really?
It's actually really good. It's like spicy sausage.
Okay, I've had rattlesnake before, but that was at the Rattlesnake Festival down in southwestern Oklahoma, which
Yeah,
I'm sure you love to go to.
I've never been.
Um,
This is only one vendor, but he comes every year and he travels the nation going to state fairs. And
yeah,
so he buys the rattlesnake meat from rattlesnake hunters, and the rattlesnake hunters sell the skin, they sell the venom to make anti-venom, and then they sell the meat. And so he buys the meat from them.
and you love it.
It's so good. It's like spicy sausage. I only got it one time just to try. I was like, what in the world does rattlesnake taste like? And then I was like, wow.
So you're not like ordering it for your home or something.
No, it's just on a stick. No, it doesn't come to my house. Like, what are those steaks that you can order?
Omaha steak.
Omaha steaks.
Yeah,
No.
right.
And then my daughter Briar has eaten 2 slices of pizza, one with dried scorpions, one with dried crickets,
No,
just for the sake of saying she
she
did
did
it.
it. Yeah.
And she said that the scorpions are the worst because they taste like cardboard.
Oh,
Yeah, but the crickets, though, you could feel the spines on their teeth as you're I mean, on their legs, their little spiky legs.
yeah.
Oh, no, thank you. So, lots of fun new foods though at the state fair. Let me go over
Eating
these.
insects is a big thing in some parts of the world. It's
It is, and
they,
in Malaysia where I lived, they used to eat insects.
yeah.
In New Caledonia, where I lived as a kid, as a missionary kid, my brother was playing with a locust, and this kid said, "Can I have that when you're done?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm playing with it. Da, da, da. Here you go." And he goes, pulled off the wings. Oh, while it was alive.
Really?
He didn't even cook it. And I mean, obviously. And so we were just stunned, blown away. But
Huh?
I mean,
Yeah,
to each their own.
absolutely.
When we come back, we will talk about a brand new entertainment center coming to Oklahoma City, a big
Yeah,
facility. This is really cool. Lots of simulated games.
it's
We'll
cool.
talk about that next. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Around the Block. Hey, we just got the Mario Andretti race karting facility.
Yes.
It's super awesome.
Yeah,
And
Austin did a story on it. Looked like it was a blast.
yeah, and that's the thing is like I've had several friends try to go, and they get there and they're like the wait is 3 hours
Oh,
because they don't
really?
take advanced
Oh,
reservations.
I
You have to
hadn't heard.
go,
Wow.
sign up, and then maybe even leave and come back.
No
And then
kidding.
right now because it's brand new and
Well,
everything.
yeah.
So, but it has race tracks for 18 and up. It starts at 4 years old, and then I think the ones that go 30 miles, 35 miles per hour, you have to be 18 or older to ride those. But then there's also like a 2-story laser tag facility that they
Oh,
have.
wow.
I know, it sounds so cool.
It's big.
Yes, and now coming right next door to that, which by the way is also next door to Chicken and Pickle Brew Flicks.
Yeah.
Is that right? I always call it the wrong thing, and my kids always correct me. Flicks Brew House. That's what it is. I call it Brew
Okay,
Flicks.
you've got it down.
Flicks Brew House.
It's all at the half. The half. Halfway between Edmond and Oklahoma State. That's why they call
Okay.
it the half.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes,
Yeah.
the half is the shopping district area
Yeah, the whole
center.
little entertainment area.
Yeah, and so a new thing is coming right next door to that called Mammoth Fieldhouse. And Kent, you're going to love this.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait to check it out.
It's going to have simulated golf,
Mm-hmm.
baseball, and basketball.
Look at all those little putting and chipping greens around there.
Yeah, so they'll actually have actual golf. But
Yeah.
and I think it's almost. I wonder what Top Golf thinks of this. It's a little different, but
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what they'll think of that. And then also on top of that, the simulated baseball, which so you'll be standing in front of like a screen and you'll see this baseball coming at you. You'll hit it, but not obviously. It's just a swing in the air,
Right.
and then it will show you like where it goes or if you struck out or whatever. And then
Right.
same thing with basketball.
Said you can try to be like, yeah, that you could try to do like a home run derby and all those kinds of things.
Hmm.
How cool.
Yeah, that'll be so fun. We're getting so many new things, and we're also getting that Shields Sporting Goods store.
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to have a lot of everything that you can think of, kind of like Bass
Right.
Pro. But
Well,
it'll have
kind of like the indoor outdoor of this because we have inclement weather in Oklahoma,
Uh-huh.
and some folks don't. My wife wouldn't like to go outside, but she doesn't like the heat. She wouldn't go out and putt, in the middle of the afternoon like I would.
Yes, yes.
You know.
So I think this is so fun, so great for Oklahoma City, so great for our economy. And we're just getting so many new things. Having said that, we're losing things too. I don't know if you remember the dog park called Bar K.
Yeah,
Lake Park.
yeah, we did the story on it.
Yeah, so we're losing some things too, but it's great to see new things coming in
It
at the same
is.
time.
Yeah, and that's just the nature of the business world. You're going to have things come and go, but we're getting things that other cities have that we haven't had an opportunity to get in the past, and some of it's passing different population thresholds, that type of thing. But some of it's just the economic power that's happening here in Oklahoma. It's a growing area.
Yes, and so this Mammoth Fieldhouse, they will have multiple locations, just like Mario Andretti's race karting thing does.
Mhm.
But this is the first location they're ever going to have here in Oklahoma. So they're
That's
going to,
awesome.
I know, they're going to base all of their future establishments on how it goes here in Oklahoma. So that's exciting. to hear.
We get to be the guinea pigs.
I was about to say that we're the guinea pigs in all this, but hey, we're here for it all. I
We
think
are,
that's
that's
great.
for sure.
So if it has been 10 years since you've changed the batteries in your smoke detector, it's far too long. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
once a year. But I got to tell you, my smoke detectors are hooked up to my alarm system.
Yes,
So when they go bad, my alarm goes off.
right. Yeah, some folks have and then there are the ones now that you buy that are enclosed. They don't have batteries you take out. They just are fully the battery in it lasts until it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just replace the whole thing.
Yes. So if you live in Oklahoma City, they've always had this deal with the Oklahoma City Fire Department where they will bring you a free smoke detector if you don't have one that's working. So if it's 10 years old, the device itself, it's time to replace it. So all you have to do is contact 405-316 BEEP,
Mm-hmm.
BEEP 2337 to schedule your free installation.
They'll install it for you.
I think that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You should also have alarms in every bedroom, hallway, and on every level of your home.
I don't know that I have them in every bedroom. I got them in the doors right outside the bedrooms.
Mine's in my room, and sometimes at night when I can't sleep, I just watch the flashing green light.
Yeah, well, we have one in the master bedroom, but it's
not counting sheep; it's counting the green light,
But
and that helps me go to sleep.
That
sometimes.
one, the one, of course, that's the one in the house that does take the battery. Then when does it go bad? It's always at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, that's when it starts chirping. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So
They
yes,
chirp real loud.
and you just want to get a broom and go bam,
right,
destroy it.
but when you're the husband, it's always you need to change that out.
Why haven't you done that yet?
Right, that's your fault.
Aren't you psychic? You should have known the battery is going to go dead. Okay, a legally blind Chicago man has been reunited with his stolen support dog after 2 months.
Oh, really?
This is great. I mean, his name is Angel Santiago. He said his 14-year-old tan and white dachshund, how cute, Bam Bam,
Good name,
was stolen from his backyard in Logan Square in Chicago. It was an emotional support dog, and it is an emotional reunion too. So Santiago is legally blind due to glaucoma. He told police 2 unknown people entered through his gate and took his dog. Can you imagine how cute that is? A tan and white dachshund.
Golly, why would anybody steal somebody's dog?
I know. And especially, I mean, that's terrible for the dog too. They're
Right,
terrified.
absolutely.
How do I get back to my owners? They can't speak English, so.
Right.
But in the weeks that followed, Santiago said he walked as many as 7 miles a day, being blind, handing out flyers and calling out for Bam Bam. That breaks my heart. But so a GoFundMe was set up. It collected $20,000 in support of these search efforts and included reward money. But his persistence did pay off because it turned out to be the 16th District Police Department calling and saying, "They have my dog," he said.
Very nice.
Yeah, Bam Bam was dropped off by a man and a woman at the 16th District, blah, blah, blah. And so they left in a hurry, refused to leave any contact information. So obviously they were probably the ones who took it. And then when they saw all these news stories being done, then they were like, "Oh, don't want this dog," for the fact that for them to do it anonymously and race off. But at least they did the right thing. And Santiago said, "I held him in my hands. I checked his ears to make sure it was truly him. And it was Bam Bam. And I couldn't believe it."
Very nice.
Yes.
Happy ending there. Like that story.
Happy ending.
Don't steal anybody's dog.
No, that's terrible. Terrible.
Golly.
And usually it's like the high-end breeds that you'll see, like the Frenchies, French bulldogs.
Oh,
A lot of those will be stolen. They'll be used for breeding if they're not spayed or neutered, or they'll just be sold again.
yeah.
Lady Gaga had 2 Frenchies, and her dog walker was shot a few years ago, and the dogs kidnapped. She eventually got them back. Her dog walker survived. Do you remember all that?
I do remember it because this is terrible. But the way I remember it was I was reading it with my co-anchor Allie, and she said her dog Walker was shot.
So you thought the dog's name was Walker?
That's what she thought.
Oh.
we got to breaking them like, I think it's the dog walker, not the dog walker.
Like Luke Skywalker. It makes perfect sense. That's so funny.
There wasn't a comma in the right place. It wasn't her fault. Something was wrong with the script. But
Yes.
it was,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
no, it was a terrible story. Don't get me wrong. It's awful. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad he's okay.
Yes, no doubt. I mean, we're glad the human lived, especially, but also that she got her dogs back.
Was that a Frenchie?
Both of those were Frenchies.
Oh,
There were
I see.
two.
Okay.
Yeah, and they are super expensive. They're one of the most expensive breeds, and also one of the most desired breeds.
I was so surprised to me because my cousin Lacey Latt,
Uh-huh.
she had
Two.
she has two.
Yeah.
Oh, I've only seen. She had a picture of one of them, and I'm like, is that an alien? What is that?
That's Debbie. That one's Debbie, the one you're talking about. I know. She looks like a mix between a pug and an alien. But she's so cute, too. But they love, Lacey and Josh love their Frenchies.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know that they had two, but yeah.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
We have time to get to one more story before we go to break. You're a big music buff.
I guess I am.
Well, you definitely are. You have a home studio, music studio.
I do indeed.
I would say you're a music buff. Also, you used to be a DJ, so there's that.
Yes.
You corrected me the other day on Tom Petty singing "Life Is a Highway." You're like, actually, it's Tom Cochran.
True enough.
But you know your stuff, and I don't. So Eurovision, the world's largest live music event, will take place in Vienna, Austria next year. What's neat about this is it's the world's largest live music event, and that's why everyone's talking
Oh,
about
that is cool. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
They have a song contest. Okay.
And so the world's largest live music event is always held in the country whose singer won the most recent competition.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So JJ is his name. He won this year's Eurovision with Wasted Love in Switzerland. So the Austrian city of Innsbruck will also apply to host the May 2026 contest, but Vienna will be the host for the third time.
Wouldn't that be fun to go to?
Yeah.
That would be a blast.
I mean, I'm sure you think so because do you like concerts still? Or
I do. Yeah. I haven't been to a whole lot of concerts recently. I listen to a lot of alternative music. I don't listen to much radio music that's on. So a lot of the bands I listen to come to smaller venues, and so I'll go check out somebody that comes through like that. But
who are some of your favorite bands?
I like Soft Cult. I told you I saw Pat Metheny. I really like some of his material. I like Gleamer. That band I think is already broken up, but I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head. You know how it is when somebody asks you your favorite.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
Right.
I can tell you that my two favorite bands are both of my brother-in-law's bands.
Oh, nice.
I have to say that because we're related.
Oh, okay.
But no, but really they're great. Like, so he used to have a band called Klipspringer, and they just finally dissolved. And they got their name. Klipspringer is a tiny deer with these little baby horns.
Very nice.
They opened a dictionary, pointed at Klipspringer, so that was the name of their band name, and then they would write these hilarious songs like "I Keep Losing My Lighter" was one. That's one of the most famous ones. And then "My Knee Hurts."
Okay.
This funny stuff. And then they would do like these clip hop concerts. They'd make it kind of hip hop. They would turn their songs into "I keep losing my lighter," like a kind of it's
Weird
funny.
stuff. Is any of it published?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can go support Klipspringer, and it's called The Jeffs, Geoffs. This is the new band that they just created.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then on the T-shirt that he gave me, it says The Jeffs, Geoffs, and on the back it says No Jeffs, Jeffs.
That's nice.
So
I'll go check it out on Spotify.
Yeah, a couple of the band members' names are Jeff. That's where they got that from. So
I love it. That's neat.
Yes. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about a Swedish church being moved down the road before a mine swallows its town. We'll talk about that. Plus, yes, Kent is leaving to go do the noon show, and Teray Gables will be taking his place. Thank you, Kent, as always.
You bet.
We'll see you
Good
next
to
Friday.
See you. Okay.
And we'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Hey, look who we got here, Teray Gables.
In the house.
In his house.
That's where we're at.
Yes, we are. Speaking of his house, we got some band to talk about. Dave Koz and his band were in flight delay, so they picked up their instruments and started playing for the crowds. This is cool. Make the most of every situation. I like this. Passengers were plagued by delays on a flight from St. Louis to Seattle. They got an unexpected pick-me-up when jazz saxophonist Dave Koz and his bandmates held an impromptu jam session on the plane. Look at that guy with the blue and purple hair back there. He's loving it. Everybody's got their cameras out and they're just like, and they're getting ready to go play a concert, and that's why they're on that flight. So they just made the most of it and everybody had fun.
Looks like it.
Have you ever been on a delayed flight?
Yeah, it's not the best, but
Yeah.
to be entertained, you can't beat that.
No doubt, because usually you're just sitting there
Exactly.
and just like
And
going,
that you
tick
notice
tock,
that air
tick
coming
tock.
out of that recycled beautiful air is
Mhm.
always a little it's a
Musty.
well, I never smelt it,
I
but
do. You know, I got a real sensitive nose, and
I
I
know
can
you
smell
told me that.
everything. Yeah, and so it smells super musty to me and dusty and gross.
It's super warm.
Yeah, sometimes it's freezing. So, I always appreciate when it's warmer than colder, but I think this is so cool. This happened last week when the plane was stuck on the tarmac in Boise, Idaho. Koz and fellow musicians on the Summer Horns tour were headed to Seattle for 2 shows there. Their flight was supposed to be direct, but it had to divert to Boise after flight crew members timed out. What a
And it sounds like
hassle.
later there was a mechanical issue.
Yeah, and then there was a mechanical issue. So then he says a flight attendant asked them to play a song, and the video of their performance has gone viral. As it
That's how
should.
quick you can go viral.
Yeah, I mean, make the most. It helps the passengers. It helps you with your business and your career. So
Yes,
it's a win-win.
yes, it is a win-win.
this is a freaky story. There is an iron
Ooh, you want me to
ore
give you some
mine.
behind the ooh.
There it is. Thank
There
you
it
for that,
is.
Teray. She set the scene. There is an
Gotcha.
iron ore mine that's threatening to swallow a town in Sweden. So they are moving this Swedish church in case of this ginormous sinkhole that swallows the town. But they're moving it down the road, and it's
Uh-huh.
got to be lifted very, very carefully. Look at all that glass, all those glass windows. I don't even know how they
That's
got
a
it
big.
propped up
That's a
on something like that.
to even get it to move. I mean, is the street wide enough? Look at
Um,
the
I
photo. I
know.
mean, which way are we going here?
Yeah, and so right, and then where are they going to put it on top of that? So it's one of its most beloved wooden churches being moved as part of the relocation of the town of Kiruna. This is happening because the world's largest underground iron ore mine is threatening to swallow the town. So thousands of visitors, as you can see, they've descended upon the town north of the Arctic Circle to watch the church's relocation. They kicked off the move with a blessing on Tuesday morning, and the slow journey scheduled to end Wednesday afternoon. It was live streamed. But there are concerns that the reindeer herders that plans for a new mine could threaten reindeer migration routes. That's something that we don't think about here.
herders. I mean, reindeer herders. I've never heard of that.
They must
one.
be the breeders for Santa's reindeer.
Is that what that
I mean, they're
is?
close to the Arctic Circle, so yeah, maybe.
Interesting.
But I mean, how scary would it be to think, okay, our entire city could be swallowed by this iron ore mine? We could be going,
right?
like you just never know.
I wouldn't. I mean, that's something to think about when you go to sleep at night.
Exactly. And it's like, why isn't everyone else being evacuated? Why are they moving this church and not the people?
What's the town called again? Town of Kiruna?
Kiruna.
Kiruna.
I don't know how they say that, but Kiruna. You never know. Different countries, different accents,
Right.
different pronunciations.
Right.
Okay, here's a news story for you. First of all, let me preface this with, do
What?
you say Uranus or Uranus?
I like Uranus.
Okay, you better watch what you say.
Why? Is that not the proper?
Nothing. I like yeah, that's how I've always said it.
Okay.
And so Uranus is how I've always said it too. So, but a lot of people now say Uranus just
Oh,
because it sounds
really?
a little more prim and proper versus, the 15-year-old in me, what they're thinking. So the Webb space station, though, this is a pretty cool story. NASA's Webb telescope, it finds a tiny new moon around Uranus.
Is that the moon?
That's the moon.
No, I'm saying, is that the moon that's the tiny moon?
Yeah, the tiny moon.
No, that's Uranus.
Is it? Heather, you got me
It's white.
telling the folks.
Well, it's blue. It's a little.
Okay.
That
so that's
doesn't look
Uranus.
blue.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't look blue to y'all.
I think that looks like the new
That
moon
does
that
not
they
look
found.
blue. That looks
It's
white.
like baby
It looks
blue.
really
That doesn't
baby
even look
blue.
like a powder to it.
Anyway, whatever this is, NASA announced the discovery on Tuesday. This moon appears to be just 6 miles
It's the
wide.
color of my T-shirt.
I'm not.
I'm going with white. Um,
But please tell me where the moon is, the little moon in this
I
photo.
think that's it.
Is it?
It's just no. That's the picture of Uranus. The little moon. You can't
Let me
really
draw a
see
happy
it.
face on this moon.
It's so tiny.
Okay. Anyway, this was the moon was spotted by the telescope's near infrared camera during observations back in February. It's 6 miles wide, little baby moon, but scientists think it hid for so long because of its faintness and small size. Uranus has 28 known moons that are named after characters from Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. After about half are smaller and orbit the planet at closer range. And this newest addition, still nameless, ups the planet's total moon count to 29. So we need a name for the new moon around Uranus. What do you think it should be?
I have a suggestion.
Yo, what is
What?
it, D'Anthony?
It's not appropriate.
Okay, then no, we won't.
then
It's your inappropriate suggestion. It's already inappropriate that we're talking about mooning and Uranus at the same time.
Right.
So, what was that? Oh, it's time for a break. That's what that was. You
What's-
flashed up a little message. Yeah, we're going to take
What
a quick
break?
break. We're taking a break.
We haven't even been on long enough
Yes, we have.
to take a break.
And so when we come back, we're going to talk about fantasy football season and
What?
where fans are most likely to manage their team. Are you in your bedroom? Are you at work? Are you on the toilet? That's actually one of the options. We'll talk about that when we come back after this break. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Around the Block with Teray Gables. I'm Heather Holman. We're glad you're here. We are talking about fantasy football. It is almost time. So, a new survey of fantasy football players, according to props.com, reveals that managing your fantasy team has officially become an anytime, anywhere activity. Teray, do you participate in fantasy football?
Absolutely not. But I know I see commercials all the time. It's got to be the place to be.
Do you have a bracket for basketball? Do you do that?
No.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about where fantasy football fans are most likely to manage their team. This is like your location in your house or at work. Okay. Percentage of fans who manage here. The top most percentage is 24% of fans manage their teams while watching the actual game. 20% manage their teams in bed before sleeping. That's going to keep you awake at night because then you're going to be thinking all night long, wait, is this right or should I have done that one?
It must be an easy
15%.
thing to do if they can manage it while watching an actual game. Can't be that hard.
I don't know. You got to think. I mean, they're watching the plays. They're watching how each team plays and so forth. But
Okay.
yeah, that is multitasking.
The next one is multitasking, doing it during your lunch break.
I think that's easy because you're not really thinking about what you're eating. You're just eating your lunch while you're like, combing through everything. I don't know. I would say that would be the easiest.
You think so?
I think this one's weird. 9% manage their teams at the bar with friends.
I don't know how you'd be able to do that if you're trying to have a conversation.
Maybe not in your right mind. 9% also at a family gathering.
Yep.
8% while at work. And Teray, you got this one.
My favorite, on the toilet. 8%.
That must be a long bathroom break.
It's got to be. I mean,
it's obviously men. I feel like are take much longer than women.
What, in the bathroom?
So maybe this is what they're doing. It's like, what? Are you feeling
they're on
okay?
That
That was
blessed
like
assurance, enjoying themselves.
they're on their thrones.
They're on the thrones.
Yes, planning out their fantasy football team. So it's not just where fans are managing their teams, it's what they're giving up to do it. From skipped social plans to missed gym sessions, the obsession is having a real world impact. Fantasy football is also canceling plans. So the percentage of fans who canceled plans, 23%, they canceled a night out with friends. 20% canceled a family dinner. Wow, that's rude. 20% canceled weekend plans.
Are you saying they're canceling these plans because of fantasy football?
Yes.
Wow.
19% going to the gym, 14% a vacation or trip. What? You cancel a vacation for fantasy football? 13% cancel for work or study tasks. 13% cancel for a date, as it should be.
I've done it.
D'Anthony says he's done it.
Which one did you do,
The
Deanne?
date?
The date.
A date? Oh, you would have never got another one.
I didn't.
Okay, we got about 30 seconds left. Just enough time for our holidays. We got Folklore Day, National. Is that supposed to be Boa Day?
I'd say Bayo.
What is that? I don't know. What is that? Nobody?
I think
National
it's like
be
a bao bun.
What's that?
Yeah, that's like a food. isn't it?
Bread?
Yes,
Oh,
it's a-
okay.
yeah, sort of.
Okay. National Be an Angel Day, National Pecan Torte Day,
That
National
should have
Tooth
been
Fairy Day,
National
Rainbow
Terrain
Baby
Day. Be an angel.
Surgical Oncologist Day, Take Your Cat to the Vet Day, which I did, and World Plant Milk Day. Anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to Ray?
Well, I mean, that was fast 15 minutes. I didn't even get to say much.
Yeah, you didn't. So you'll have to be on next week.
That's
and
it.
We'll make up for it. Maybe we'll have you on for an extra segment.
Well, we're going to bring back the feud game, so we'll have that soon.
Yes, we will bring that back hopefully in 2 weeks.
Perhaps.
Thank you for joining us. Your Noon News is next with Kent Ogle, who was here earlier, and we'll be back on Monday at 11 a.m. Everybody have a great weekend.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Oklahoma.